Welcome to The Bean Dip, the podcast with your host, James Link. I am James Link, because I just said that. Today, as you notice, we are upgrading to what we usually do. We're going to be doing a video podcast, and you get to see live these people's reactions. And I'm scared of Shivy. So we will returning guest, as you remember from the last episode, we were speaking about the movies, is the Yorkie Gamer.
Welcome, thank you for having me back.
He's wiggling his penis-sized finger.
Oh no, I'm trying to tickle Shivy.
Oh, he's trying to tickle Shivy's beard. You're on the
on
wrong
my
side.
screen. On my screen, that's James. So
Oh,
it's
right,
poking
well.
James.
Stop it,
Because on my screen, James
Sorry,
is that
sorry,
way.
James.
and
Sorry.
Just tickling my chin. And also, welcome to the podcast. As you probably know from a lot of my other videos and streams, the Shivopotamus.
Hey, that's me.
It's him, Dio. Anyway,
It's me.
It's
Dio.
me, Dio. So
No,
today's
it's his eye.
it is I. No, you're right. Yeah, just Well, since you are new to the podcast, Shivy, we do have some important questions to ask you, since everybody knows about Yorkie because they heard it last week. What is your favorite? Your favorite all-time video game? I already know what it is, but tell the listeners what it is.
Favorite of all time is kind of difficult. I have played. It's got to be the whole Fallout series. I can't pick one that's really good.
No, you have to
But
pick just
probably
one.
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Because
right.
I played a lot of that and it got me through some tough times in my life playing that.
Fallout is I'm not as big of a fan as you. I played a lot of 76, but not much. Yeah, your whole background. I wonder what my
I made
favorite
that.
game is. Mine is The Zeldas.
I think I were asked what was my first ever game that I played.
So you got a different question.
Yeah, I think I got a different question.
What is your favorite
I actually
game
know
in
what
your
that
case?
is.
My Horizon Zero.
Oh yeah, we did touch on Horizon. If you didn't watch the last episode,
That's a good game.
yeah, but we was talking in the last podcast. If you've listened to it, we was talking a lot about they need to make a Horizon Zero Dawn movie,
Film, yeah.
and we've already given them the lead actress for it. So you know
who'd you say?
Do you know Jon Snow from Game of Thrones' wife? The ginger.
Oh,
She is
yeah,
the lead
the Irish
actress.
actress.
Wow.
Yeah. See, even him.
It was a really good choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good choice.
Yeah.
Very good choice. Yeah, I watched it other day again in the Last Witch Hunter, or whatever it was called. Yeah.
But what they'll probably do is give the property to Paul W.S. Anderson and he'll just cast his wife. Emilio Rich will just get cast.
I don't know what that is.
Well,
The lead actress from the Resident Evil movies. He'll just cast her.
yeah, she was in the Monster Hunter movie as well.
And,
You're on the... Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fifth Element.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
She's absolutely gorgeous. But there you go.
What about she was-
Okay, actress. Pretty good singer. No, she is gorgeous. She's an okay singer, actually.
Mila Jovovich.
You're rich.
Well,
Yep.
going off of that, we said we don't want to talk too much about movies. If you want to listen to a podcast about movies, go back to the last episode, watch that. Unless you want to hear Shivy's points, then you don't get to. Shivy, what was the first game you ever played?
Blitz on the VIC-20.
Ooh.
Yeah, back when
Very
I was a
good.
kid.
Back when
My
he was a
first,
kid.
that was my first intro into gaming, was Blitz on the VIC-20. It was my dad's VIC-20. I used to set it up, and it's basically a game, but really simple 8-bit game. But it's got the houses, and you used to go and just drop bombs on entire cities.
Wow.
But the real joke was there was a New York level, and there was two certain towers in the middle.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No. Don't mention that.
So I can't play that game anymore. And I was going to play it on my channel, but I better not.
You better not. No. Well, good thing you're talking about retro because that is today's episode. We're going to be leading into the retro side of things today. So we're going to obviously Yorkie's back because he is a retro nerd, and that's why he's back because he likes retro stuff. We're going to start off with, as probably Shivy's already just answered this first question, is what is the first? See, we've also got to discuss which is retro because to us, retro is we're talking, Atari, N64, SNES. To younger generations, we could be talking the retro being GameCube, PS2. Some people could even consider PS3 retro.
Yeah.
It is over 20 years old, so
It is.
I think
You wouldn't have thought
technically
so,
it is
would you?
classed.
It feels like yesterday to me.
Yeah, because when was the... 'cause
Crazy.
we've had the PS4, now we've got the PS5.
Well,
So
it was
how
90.
far-
It would end at 90s for PlayStation
Hmm.
and Xbox.
Oh,
So think
shit.
about that. So it was like 2003.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I think
that
it
would
was
have been
like-
PlayStation 2. So yeah.
Ooh.
But
So I
it's
think-
just,
I think PlayStation 2 was around more 2000.
yeah.
Because it was like the new hotness. And then the PlayStation 3 was like 2004. Because I remember being a teenager when that came out. That was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
A long, long time ago.
But
Chevy-
see, retro to me is arcades.
I mean, yeah,
That's
I mean,
my proper, like, you know.
you can't be
and-
like I didn't really grow up
Oh.
playing arcade games, though. That's my issue. Like, I obviously grown up. The first console I remember having was a Super Nintendo with Mario and Yoshi. That's literally all I remember playing.
Same.
And then my mum got me a Nintendo 64. That was my first like personal console. And I remember playing literally 007, Yoshi's Story mostly, Clay Fighters. If you've ever heard of Clay Fighters, it's the stupidest game on the N64. Look it up; it's super fun. But like,
Clay Fighters, yeah. I remember
and
that.
obviously the one and only my all-time favorite video game series, Zelda. It's obviously the original Legend of Zelda. Well, the Ocarina of Time. No, I had to really think then what it was called. My brain just turns off sometimes when I'm talking. But what was your first console there, Yorkie? What was like your first
My
console
first,
you ever owned?
you want the first console, so I'm just going to change my background now. So this is, let me just customize me.
Just gonna
image,
change.
yeah.
the-
Just
We're
going to
just
change
gonna-
my image.
He has
So,
video
so basically,
aid.
I was saying this is what I had when I was younger. I can understand
grandstand.
Oh,
That
that
is-
was my first ever computer game. Now, after that, it was we went into the Amstrad CPC 464.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Don't tell me you've got one, please.
I've got one sitting behind me.
Have you really? With the
Yes.
did you have the colour monitor?
No, but I
Ah,
found
we had
this in a charity shop
Oh my god! Look at it, yeah. Oh wow!
with the RAM expansion.
Now that is nostalgia.
That is retro.
Yeah, it is very. Mine
It's also
would have
covered in
got-
crap.
It didn't have that thing on back though. Whatever that thing is on
RAM
back.
expansion.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yep.
Right.
To give it an extra 64k of
I
RAM.
remember going down on. I remember going down on the markets when markets were on, and we used to go down and they had tapes.
oh.
And we used to go down on a weekend, and it was like, oh, look, you used to spend an hour searching through tapes just to try and pick something good, and then
don't
you
think
have to wait
I've-
half an hour for it to load.
I've
Oh
never
yeah,
played one on tape.
20. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I played a game on a floppy disk, but I've never played one on tape.
Basically,
Oh,
it because it's a tape, it would get the audio from the game, and the computers would take that audio, convert it into the game on the screen. So it would just go through an audio jack. So if you've got an old computer, you can actually just use a mobile phone headphone socket and just play the same tune, and it'll play the game. But yeah, it would, as Yorkie said, it would take like half an hour to 45 minutes to load a game.
Yeah,
Ah,
it was.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it was, I
ridiculous.
don't think it was that long, but it felt that long.
Felt
it was,
like
it quite a long time.
yeah, I don't think I
And
had
I-
any games that loaded that long. I mean,
No.
I don't know. We've played some Switch games, me and Shiv, that take long to load.
So
So long.
when I were younger, then I were hanging around with the wrong people. So I ended up getting into trouble. My mum wasn't talking to me. And then we went down to it was an old shop. I don't know if you remember it. It was called Dixon's.
Oh, yeah.
God.
It was
Old.
it were always there were Dixon's and then there were Currys. That went in, saw Super Mario and Duck Hunt, and went, Mum, if you buy me that, I'll never be naughty ever again. I promise you, I'll never be naughty again. She bought me it, and all I ever did was play games after that. Then
There's a copy of that Super
But what
Mario
you're
Kart
saying
behind
is,
him.
yeah,
games stopped
Save-
me from
stop you
being
from-
a naughty little bastard. Yeah,
There you
Pardon
go,
me,
kids.
Fred.
If you're listening to this, play video
Yeah.
games. Play Fortnite. This is the only time I'll condone
No.
you playing Fortnite.
No, Fortnite's crap.
Mm.
Oh,
But yeah,
But yeah, I one of my first consoles was actually a Super Nintendo, second hand from a friend of mine. I still have it. I got the box, and it was like Super Mario World. I actually had Super Ghosts and Goblins, which is the game you have to technically beat twice, and there's no checkpoints, and you can't save.
Isn't that isn't that Castlevania you have to beat twice as well? Is it just, am I thinking?
I don't know about that. I haven't actually played Castlevania.
Oh, if you haven't played it.
I never got into Castlevania either.
Yeah, I've never played that.
But so when I got my Nintendo, it was brilliant. Couldn't fault Nintendo at all. Swap games with your friends and just lent them out and borrowed them.
That's the thing I miss nowadays is you can't just go. Shivy's like, "Oh, can I borrow your game?" And like on a disc, it's like, "Yeah, sorry, I've downloaded it." Like, I've got like 200 games on my Steam. The only good thing I like about Steam really recently is the fact that they're allowing streaming sharing. So like, I'm going to sort it out because obviously me and Shiv can share game libraries. We just can't play games at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
it's not good, is it?
Unless we both own.
Yeah,
them.
but going back to it, cartridges and even discs on the PS1, because I went from a Super Nintendo to a PS1. You could just swap them out, and you had it. But the downside of that was if the game was like bad, it was bad immediately, and you couldn't fix it.
You can't refund it. Like
no day.
Is that what you mean?
No day one patch. The games had to be good as well.
The best thing about it is you could go to the shop, you buy the game, you take the game home, you put the disc in, and then you play the game. There's no, we've got to download 50 gigs worth of data.
You've got to remember, they had game testers for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they had actual jobs for game testers.
Yeah, now they just use us as the community to do it.
And now it's beta testing on Steam and early access. But yeah, so the second console that I got was a Mega Drive. Now there's a story to this. So I was pissed off. So it was my birthday, and my mum and dad had bought me a Mega Drive or a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
I'd come home and my mate were playing Sonic the Hedgehog on my brand new Mega Drive before I'd even touched it.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad had let him try it out. And I
I would have been so pissed off. Yeah.
It was like, that's my computer.
Like if
they were having a go, but yeah.
But it's still like when you get a console, it's like you have, so you feel like it's your right to play it first. You know.
So, I can remember because I was 13-year-old and I'd gone on work experience, and I were in a Huddersfield, and it was the Computer Exchange, I think, the computer store. Yeah.
Oh.
One of those shops, and Sonic the Hedgehog were just coming out, and I asked if I could have that for my 14th birthday.
Okay.
Just reminds me of that episode of Kevin and Perry. You know the one where he's turning 13? No, he's turning from 12 to 13. Yeah. He's like, I hope you bought me Mario Kart. Boom, 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 3, 2, 1. It just turns like but this is for babies. That's what you asked for, Kevin.
Well, the PlayStation, I played that. That was my second console after Super Nintendo. It wasn't technically mine; it was my mum's.
Technically,
it was my mum's console. She keeps reminding me of that to this day. So it was a lot of, considering I was like 12 at the time, 13. I probably shouldn't have been playing Resident Evil, but it was a lot of Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
You know what,
that's what I grew up playing, and that's retro.
Yeah, so, but it's the thing. Like Resident Evil, especially the first one, brings back a lot of good memories because I wasn't supposed to play it. No,
that first zombie.
It's more the fact that it was.
I've got stories of that as well.
My so Resident Evil, I had it on PlayStation. I wasn't allowed to play it with my mum, but my dad, when he used to, because obviously they split up at the time, he used to come over every weekend, and that's what we would play. Now, I would play and he would generally just sort of watch and help me with the puzzles. But that's never left my brain. That and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the PS1 were two games. Right, I remember going with my dad every Friday to Blockbuster Video to pick out a game to play for the weekend, you know?
Yes, that's what I used to do.
I remember my first time playing Kingdom Hearts was rented from Blockbusters.
Yeah.
And as soon as I played it, I was just like, Dad, I need this game. He's like, but you've got it. I was like, no, I need it. Like, I need it. I can't complete it in 2 weekends. I need it now. I need to buy it. And I don't remember ever getting it, but I brought it when I started working. Yeah, I got most of my consoles and stuff when I started working. Like, my mum is, well, I'd say done a lot. So when like the PSP came out, I know that she somehow got me a. Well, she got me one before they were even released in this country, and I don't know how, and she won't tell me to this day. But knowing her, it was all above board, so she done it some weird way, but it was an English, like, PSP. It wasn't Japanese or anything. I was like, how did you get that? She was like, don't worry, I have my way. So I'm just like, I don't like the sound of this, but I got a PSP, so I don't care. I remember my mum doing a lot. Go on.
Funny thing about talking about stuff before it was released.
Yeah.
Because technically it's a DS game. It was Pokemon Diamond. I got my copy of Pokemon Diamond 3 months early, before it was even released.
Yes.
Because one copy came up on eBay, and I was like, oh, I know it's fake. It's not going to be released for the next couple of months. And it was like £2, so I bought it.
No.
Turned out to be the whole game, and I still have it. So I ended up playing Pokemon Diamond 3 months before everyone else.
But you must have beaten it before, right? Did you win?
Oh yeah, I beat it, done it all. Like, and my mates were like, I want to play it. I still have it with the original save file. But because it is so fake, it doesn't work on newer consoles. It just refuses to work. So I have to have an original DS. Because back in the day, game piracy was a lot more prevalent as well.
Yeah. So going back to Resident Evil on PS1.
Oh, yeah.
So you know when you're walking down corridor,
Yeah.
and you come into corridor and you see the tarantula.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And it jumps on roof.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So can you remember that camera angles were really funny? So I comes back on myself and goes out of the door, and then I went back into the door, and it wasn't there, and it jumped down off of the roof onto me, and I went like this with controller.
like this is gonna help.
I proper shit myself, right? And then the second one was Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. Was it on PlayStation 1 or was it on PlayStation 2?
PlayStation 1. It was on PlayStation 1 and the N64 somehow.
Right, so it was PlayStation 1 still. So on Resident Evil 2, when you go to the butcher in the police station, I was smoking at that time. So do you know what you call out ladders, don't you? And he's been butchering people, the guy that's been in the police station. So there was a lighter on the fireplace. And it was one of those wooden fires that were hung on wall. So it was winter, fire's been put on full. I hadn't realised on that exact moment when the cutscene come on, the lighter exploded on the fireplace. And every time I play a scary game, and my wife came down at times, she went, what was that?
And she blew up a...
But every time I play Resident Evil, there's always something that shits me up. You know, it's like, and it's not the game.
Yeah.
Oh no, the game that shits me up is Silent Hill 2. I cannot play the Silent Hill 2.
One. I played the first one.
Yeah, I played the first one all the way through, but Silent Hill 2 is just the air raid sirens. I cannot do World War II air raid sirens now because of that. One of the reasons why I can't play that is it's not because I played that game when I watched the film they made, and then I was heading out for a ride with my dad on my bike, and I went to somewhere called Box Hill. And you know when you come into the game, it's like this big sign that says "Welcome to Silent Hill," and it's all foggy and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And there's fire everywhere. I was going to Box Hill, and it was foggy, and the big wooden sign that says "Welcome to Box Hill," and I could smell fire, and I couldn't see her dad in front of me. So I'm riding this bike solo at 16, like I'm gonna die because of video games. And because of that, I can't play Silent Hill.
Oh wow!
I mean, the only game that I can't really play very well is I'm very, very scared of The Grudge. I don't know why. I'm just generally terrified. That was a Grudge game.
Eyes.
There's a video on my channel where I'm sitting there playing, watching through just cutscenes of The Grudge, and I'm just like, no, I don't like it. It's like, why aren't you punching it? Like, it opens the door and your hands right there. It's like, punch it. Just punch it in the face. Just punch. Like, why is nobody punching this thing? Like, even try. You know, it's like Chucky. Punt the git. You know, he comes running at you overnight. Just punt him. Why are people just so afraid of just like fighting back? Like, no, I've got to run.
The movie, The Ring, when she's calling out, or in the video game, The Ring.
Yeah.
bringing it back. She's
Oh.
calling out the TV. Just turn TV off. Cut her in half. Shut. Dead.
I'm coming to get you. Just unplugs the TV like.
Off. Stand by. Done.
Yes. So what my weekends when I were younger consisted of Nintendo Entertainment System. We used to go up to my grandma's on a Saturday afternoon. We used to set the Nintendo up, and it was golf. Mario Golf with my dad and my uncle, and used to have take turns. And
I used to play.
And then it evolved to the Mega Drive, and it was EA Sports PGA Tour Golf.
EA Sports.
So,
EA.
yeah, it evolved to that then. My mum used to play on because we didn't come home until after midnight. And we're only young. So
I spent a lot of time as a kid playing with my an old friend John. We used to literally like do sleepovers and just play for like just until the morning coming, and we're like, we was going to go Bromley today, or we was going to go somewhere today, and then just still went out. Like,
Yep. Because when you're young, you could do an all-nighter. Like my all-night gaming sessions or Time Splitters Future Perfect.
oh mate,
Set the game mode to max,
Splitters,
one-hit
wow.
kill.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
set the
PlayStation.
game mode.
that was PlayStation as well, wasn't it? Time Splitters.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation 2.
Oh,
PlayStation
PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox.
Xbox, yeah. I mean, my first all-nighter I remember playing was Final Fantasy X. Couldn't stop.
Yeah, that's a
Mine
brilliant
mine were Final Fantasy VII because I
game.
used to play that until 3 morning, and I had to
My
be up
issue
at
with
6.
7. My issue with 7 is when I was a
For
kid, I traded my N64 with my cousin for the PS1 because we wanted to try out the different cards. He gave me a copy of Final Fantasy 7 at the Gold Saucer, and that's all I knew. I went inside the arcade and played the arcade games in the game. I never actually played the story. I didn't know what I was doing. I just, this is a big arcade. Oh, so this is the game. You go in, you play some arcade games, and then blah blah blah. I didn't know you could travel the world like fighting monsters and doing stuff. It wasn't for a good year or so. No, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, I actually played the Final Fantasy games from 7 all the way to 12 in order. Because I borrowed them off my mate, Shadow in the Discord. I borrowed them off him because I started playing them in my teenage years, so I was a little bit late getting into it.
Yeah.
And then 10 is the best. And 10 is retro. It's a PS2, and PS2 is a retro console now. But 10, I put so many hours in.
Wouldn't Final Fantasy X also be a good film if they turned that into a film?
Final Fantasy X would make it, because that's a sealed American copy of Final Fantasy 8.
I don't think they're sealed.
Is that
Are
a
they?
sealed 7?
It's not sealed.
That's a sealed.
It's
No,
not
it's
sealed.
not
Oh,
sealed.
hang on.
But
Are we
it's
doing
in
this?
It's in really good
Good Nick.
condition. Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Doing
there's
this.
no
Am I doing-
scratches. And then
He's gonna get something.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get. I've lost my copy of 9. It's somewhere in a box in a storage unit.
it's for sale,
Is it?
I'll give you 20 quid.
and that goes for 200, just short of 200 quid.
Xenogears.
Yeah,
Oh, I've always wanted a copy of that game.
it's for sale.
It's for sale. God, when did we turn into Facebook Marketplace?
I am not getting up because my.
Yeah,
I was trying to find. I have a copy of Magna Carta on the PS2, an old RPG.
Magna Carta. No, only something similar to that one. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego or whatever? That one
Yeah,
wanted
hang on.
where you went round looking for someone.
Fine.
He's off to find said thing.
Have you got another question then, James?
Yeah, yeah. So we go on to just move on to this next question. And while Shivy's looking for wherever he's looking. Apparently, it's on his chair in the background. He's
Oh, Final Fantasy X PS2. Wow.
Oh, is this like? Oh, wait. Oh.
Very nice. Very nice. Very
Just,
nice.
So,
Are any of them sealed though?
nah.
No.
I don't think so. He's told me I don't think he has any sealed.
Yeah.
Well, I think Shivy can't hear us at the moment, but we'll move on to, since we've had like a little discussion.
Wired in.
What console? Ooh, Magna Carta, nice.
Yeah, Magna Carta on the PS2.
I never played it.
Oh.
I'll have to try that out actually.
I'll lend it to you.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I'll lend it to
Sure.
you.
There's been a PS2 game. I've always wanted to play Dragon Quest on the PS2 because I like Dragon Quest, and I said never
Curse
actually
of the
Curse of the Night King or something.
Curse of the Dragon King.
Dragon
I
King,
have
yeah.
that.
I need to play that.
I have
as
it
well.
sitting over there.
Yeah,
I'll link it to you.
I think it's on Steam anyway. You can.
The remaster did come out a little while. I think a remaster of that came out.
I think so. No, I think we worked it out that it was on the DS, not on
It was
the
on the
PS2.
3DS, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the PS2 Dragon Quest game over there. I'll
Yeah.
link it to you again.
You have about 200
Good friends.
PS2s.
See?
As well. The benefits
this is
of
the thing.
older consoles.
Oh, the consoles. Oh, you want to borrow this? Here. Take it. Borrow it. It's all here. No updates. And this is the fun thing about retro games. Here we are. Retro games straight now. My CEX receipt from buying this. Do you miss these days?
Yeah, definitely. Tells you everything, doesn't it?
Did you ever read them?
Carlo. Yeah, all the time. When we were back in the car or the bike.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
full colour little guides.
On train back from Leeds, when I'd bought me, what were it called?
Beelies or
it must have been Curry's or like I say Dixon's or something still in Leeds, and I'd gone at 4:00 and I managed to get to Leeds before 5, and
That's
it
good.
were like an Indiana Jones thing, you know, it shutters coming down.
Yeah.
Underneath and ran upstairs to where video games were, and I got Mega Man for Nintendo.
Oh,
I were only
Mega
young.
Man.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, no. I was very, very young, and we were allowed to go to places like Leeds and stuff, and it was like a 10-mile bus ride. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
in,
you
them
had
days,
to-
in them days, we were allowed to do that. I was only about 12, 13.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Yeah, the
being
amount
a
of long
mission.
bus rides I used to do to get games from like
you
where
did-
I was based at the time to Bromley.
Yeah.
Just going to go buy games from Game back when it was a proper game store.
Oh, I used to spend a lot of time in Game Station.
There's the
Blockbusters.
other one.
Yeah, Game Station.
I had
I miss so much. Game Station used to be such a good game store. I think
Game Station.
Game Station I feel was better than
It
Game.
was the cheaper version of Game,
Yeah.
but the staff were better. It was cheaper, and they just because they bought stuff cheap and sold it cheap just to have that turnover.
Game Station.
But then
I remember it, yeah.
Blockbuster bought Game Station and ran it into the ground. But the thing was, I had a hookup in Blockbuster, so I got free game rentals. Hence why the first time I played Fallout 3, well, it was my brother-in-law's copy of Fallout 3. I played it for like 2 hours and then went to Blockbuster and he just gave me the copy and I had it for like 6 months. Then went and gave it back and bought my own.
I mean, it could have been the start of what you where your Fallout 3 love came from.
Yeah, it was where my Fallout
Yeah.
love that night because I was going through some shit and I was just there. My brother-in-law had his 360 and it was hooked up to the TV and I was going through a lot of shit with family and stuff. And then he just said, "There, just play that and lose yourself," and I did for like 15 hours, just
Oh, wow.
running around the wasteland trying to find everything. And then I've got save files on Fallout 3 with like 200 hours per character, like 300 hours.
Yeah, I miss being able to have that much time to like put. Oh, I'm going to sit down and play this game for 15 hours. No, I can't do that at all anymore. I can play a game for like 2 or 3 hours and then I kind of have to stop because I'm either too tired or I need to eat. Like as a kid, I didn't need to worry about cooking my own food. Mum would game. Mum's like, food's ready. Run downstairs, grab my plate, run back upstairs, game, eat. Middle of gaming now, it's like I gotta go work to earn the money and I gotta pay for
We're
my
in that
own
part of the
games.
graph where it's like you have time, but no money. So you play lots of like games, but you have no money. Then you have all the money to buy games, but no time. And then when you get older, you have all the time, but no money. Again.
We just can't win.
Yeah. And we're in that, like, we have money, but no time.
Alright, well, let's move on to this next question then, because we've what console holds the most nostalgia for you? Which console do you sit and think, do you know what? I would like. I know you've got every console going, Shiv.
I
But
can still be nostalgic. It's
yeah,
the
but
PS2.
what console PS2 for you? Mine would be the same. I'd be PS2 because that's the one I spent most of my
See,
time on.
now I'm a lot older than you, so I'd say it was Super Nintendo, because it was a lot better than the Mega Drive. But the first one I got, I swapped. What did I swap him for it? I think I swapped my Mega Drive for a Super Famicom, which was the
Ooh.
Japanese version,
Yeah.
and it had Street Fighter. Because what were happening was, in them days, the Street Fighter 2 had just come out in the arcades. And I remember going into one of the arcades in local town, and there was this really tall biker dude. and you were really good and you knew what moves and everything. It was like, how do I beat this guy? Because that was the thing. You used to go in to try and beat someone and try and stay on. Do you know?
Leaderboards.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the leaderboards. It was just trying to beat him in a fight. So when I got the Super Nintendo, well, the Famicom version, and it was Japanese, I learned how to do Dragon Balls, Fireballs, and Dragon Punches.
Yeah, see, I've never been good at fighting games.
Because you had the instructions, Shiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the box.
Yeah, the instruction
Yeah,
book.
you could sit there and have the instruction book in front of you. Now you're just like, I have
Mortal
to have...
Kombat don't tell you that. Mortal Kombat never told you that.
Also, that's one thing I've just realised as well. In olden days, you had like the arcade games, but then they were the same as the home games, so you could go home practice and then go back to the arcade, like you were saying, and play.
Yeah.
You don't get that nowadays.
No.
But that sort of ended with the PS2, with like Time Crisis was like the last one.
Oh, well, Time Crisis.
Mate, Time Crisis is such a good game. Do you know what?
And
I missed it. I
I've
miss
just seen that in
arcades.
VR.
Oh
in
no,
VR
I know
there
there is something criminal in a shop near me. It's like one of these like knockoff like game shop places that does like mobile phone stuff. There's a copy of Time Crisis Project Titan, which is like the rare Time Crisis game on the PS1. It was sealed, but they've cut it open, taken it out to take the disc out. So it was a sealed copy of Project Titan, and it was like £10, and I wanted it, but they've cut it open to take the disc out. And I was just like, why?
It's the same as the way the CEX do it for them to confirm that the game is actually in the case. They need to open a sealed product. I understand, like, it sucks for retro gamers. Like, we want the stuff sealed, but for companies like that, they need to confirm that the disc is in there, and they make it.
The funniest story you mentioned in them doing that. I went in once. I already had a copy of Pokemon X, so I bought the 2DS that came with a copy of Pokemon X because I wanted the 2DS.
Yeah.
No, it was a copy of it was the 2DX Special Edition, 3DS. And so I opened the box in front of them, took out the game, and gave it and went, "I want to trade this in." And she went, because it was the bird behind the cat, I was like, stupidly, I now have to open that to make sure it's in there. I literally just took it out in front of them out of a brand new console box and gave it back. And she was like, "Open. It's in there."
Wow.
I
That
guess
sort of
it's,
policy is just funny.
because there's a
Going
chance.
back
Because,
Going back on Time Crisis, they've just brought it out on is what they call it, sideload, where you sideload it onto the VR. You know, on your VR, Quest 2, Quest 2 and Quest 3. Is that what you got? Quest 2, right?
Yes.
So on the what is it? What's it called?
I can sideload games onto this, yeah.
Yeah, the sideload thing. There's a actual one. I'll have to after this.
Off this, send me a link and I'll do it.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's
that's
got
gonna
all
be so
Point
cool.
Blank.
I love Point Blank.
Okay.
It's got Point Blank. It's got Time Crisis 1. It's got a few other. I saw because obviously it's VR and you can see other arcade machines in back. So yeah.
See, that's something I would like to see done officially. Like,
Yes.
take the old
Yeah.
retro shooters, the old retro stuff, and
Put them in
officially release
VR,
them VR.
please. Yeah, put them in
Because
VR, man. Yeah.
you had the feel of the arcade where you had the light gun and you're there. But then imagine that, like the original Time Crisis, with all the noises and enemies and everything, just in VR, just the
It's there,
original
and
game.
you've even got to calibrate your gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because you can see your gun and you've got to calibrate
Yeah.
it in VR.
it would. That's how they should re-release those old games. Just do it into VR. And I
And
think that
that
would also
would keep me in VR.
Yeah, that would also get more people into VR. Which
Yeah,
is
because I mean, I would love to play Point Blank in VR. That would be so much fun. Like Point Blank was like, of all the shooter games I remember playing, Point Blank was one of my favorite. I just liked all the silly little mini games you used to play. And Shivy would confess, I'm really good at it.
he's
Like,
really good.
I'm really good at Point Blank. Nobody has been able to take me off of Point Blank.
I
I'm
can't.
so
We
good.
tried. I tried for like 3 hours to beat your score, and I was just like, nope.
I'm
couldn't.
just so good. Like with them
Time
old
Crisis,
guns. Oh, Time Crisis. Time Crisis, I loved as well. Like,
Shadow will kick everyone's ass
Oh,
in Time Crisis.
100%. Like I've never seen Shadow play. I like the shooter games.
Oh, God.
Like I'm a big fan of shooter games, but when you're holding a gun and going at the screen, like Evil, like was it the House of the Dead? I love as well.
House of the Dead, yeah.
That was super fun. Didn't work too well on the Wii. How is it on the Switch?
I haven't actually opened, like, talking about that, I haven't actually opened my copy yet. I did buy the remake, And I haven't actually opened it.
Well, we need
Maybe
to,
that could be a video we do.
we're gonna have
Video
to look at it.
idea.
Yeah, well,
Type it down below
I've got
if you're on
two
YouTube.
chairs with me now, so I've got enough room so we can do it.
Yeah.
That would be
I don't know
so
how
much
it
fun.
works, though.
That's it. I don't know. How does it work? Do you hold like one controller like at the screen and then you aim like that?
You can get Switch light guns.
That's what we're gonna
But
have to
yeah,
look
just I think the older games should be released in VR because that's one way you
Yeah.
could like update them and bring them into the future. Because the older games, they're not bad games; they're really fun. They're really,
Really
good.
good. I mean, especially
don't
can you imagine getting
need-
Time Crisis 3 in VR?
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom. I think there
That would be
actually
cool.
is. I think they actually do them, but they're on side quest. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like Donkey Konga in VR.
Donkey Kong go VR. Just
Bum, 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 bum,
With
bum, bum,
an
bum,
audience.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like playing the Kong.
Did you guys ever play any arcade games?
I played
So-
when I could get to them,
Yeah,
and it was
so
mainly Time Crisis and
what
Mario
sort
Kart.
of game? Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, I remember one racing game where you're racing on a motorbike, and all I remember, this is the only
hang
thing I
on.
can remember, is the song in the background. Born to be wild.
I think I know the game. That was the classic, like,
yeah,
arcade game.
yeah, that's
I
the only
played
one I
that a
can
lot.
remember. Like,
There's, I miss it. The Trocadero up in London, the cinema place, used to have a massive arcade. It's basically gone now. There's like one Time Crisis machine, if I remember last time I went there.
yeah,
But that's where I used to play arcades, and down
Yeah.
at the coast, going to the coast and getting to play arcade because around where I live there wasn't any. So that I've got fond memories.
We
of
used to have in local town, but when they all stopped and shut down, there were nothing.
yeah. So it's
It's,
unfortunate.
I mean,
it was a place where gamers could get together
yeah.
and enjoy games. There's not many places like that. Yeah, you've got
Oh, there is
online,
now.
like,
There is. I can give
but
you
there are
three,
now
three
like land centres
examples.
and stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we
yeah.
are,
Well,
I mean, because up near you there are a few, but I don't think there's any.
Up
down
near you,
towards
you're
London.
lucky. Up,
Yeah, there's arcade club in Leeds,
Yeah.
and then there's the arcade club in Bury, and then there's an arcade club in Blackpool.
yeah. The only one I know is
So-
Heart Gaming or Heart of Gaming. It's in Croydon.
Yeah, I've seen
But
that, and I'd love to
that-
go down there as well.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
means going to Croydon.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
but you know, if you're
I
going
mean-
as a group, it don't matter, does it?
Yeah, I think we need to probably go down there one day because they have a lot of Japanese machines as well, and I really want to see if they have a taco drum there because I want to play the
I
arcade
think
machine.
they have the Taiko
We
drum.
can always
Yeah.
arrange for you guys to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
Well-
got to sort out something with you because I don't know if the people that are listening, but Yorkie also builds arcade cabinets, and he's actually built me a personalized one, which I am so excited to sort out because then I can actually have
Would you like me to get control panel for you?
yeah, go on.
ooh,
Let's
live
listen.
reveal.
A live reveal. Ooh.
Yeah, but they're just arcades. Like you get land centers now, but it was something about an arcade. All the flashing lights and the massive machines.
Yeah, I'd love to
It was
make my own.
imposing when you were so small. It was like these big imposing machines that you couldn't have at home. So it
Yeah.
was like special and amazing. That is, the eyes.
The eyes are
That's
pretty
pretty cool. I like that.
It's,
I
that's
love
what
that.
he wanted. That's what James wanted. So
Yeah, I wanted my
That's good.
Sylveon on there.
Just needs wiring in and
That's
See,
sucks.
kids, that's what a gamepad used to look like in the arcade.
Yeah, not like just a controller.
If you're watching this on video and not listening to it on Spotify stuff, there was a he showed the gamepad with the arcade machines making with all the buttons.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's what it used to look like.
Yeah, it's a good thing we should probably explain to the people that are just listening.
Occasionally, I have to realise
Yeah,
not
we're on
everyone's
video.
watching.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
welcome back.
That's all right. But yeah, like I was saying, Yorkie, I think one of the things I just mentioned this about arcades that made them so special was the imposing size of the machines because it was just in awe of this massive box when you're so small and young.
Yeah, and it's
added
so
to it.
cool as well though. You look at that, like I still like going to the arcades. Like if we go Brighton or something like that, I love going into the arcades. The problem
did.
is, I feel like the only thing we do in the arcades though is just the 2p machines, and it's ticket
Yeah.
machines.
Yeah,
There's no
because
like,
there's nothing in anywhere. It's all tickets.
Yeah, they
now.
don't.
all tickets,
They don't
yeah.
have.
Yeah, that's why
They
I
don't
go
really
to
have
these like these places like arcade club
Oh.
because it's only like 18 quid in.
yeah,
And if you remember, you could put £1 in every machine.
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you play 18 machines, you've made your money back straight away.
I
So
mean,
it's well
yeah, if you're
worth
paying
it,
to
you know.
you pay to get in, you can just play as much as you want. Although,
Yeah.
do you know what I do? I want a real arcade cabinet of the game from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
He puts away, it's like 40, 39, 40 quarters. And it's like I think it's like what's that guy when he's like the whole world's like an ocean now, and there's a film based on it where it's like
It's
like
Waterworld.
Waterworld, yes, Waterworld the game, and it's
Kevin
like
Costner.
yeah, he takes one step, game over. Please deposit 40 quarters. He just takes like one step. I think in Millhouse
into the
playing
water.
it. Yeah, they actually
Would you
made
like
an
to
actual
play
game.
Mel Gibson's Safari 3?
This is, I mean, I enjoyed arcades because of my ADHD, and obviously it's all sensory. Hence why
Yeah.
my living room is. I know I'm showing people, but hence why my living
It's
room's.
you can't see much. It's fine.
Yeah, no, but it's all. That's why it's all lit up and lights everywhere, and yeah, so it's helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I mean you can see it in the light when he's got like little fireworks going off every like
Yeah,
30 seconds, like. Pew, pew. To be honest though, like since we've been like chatting, we've kind of been answering a lot of the questions I had planned for. Like we've like,
really?
I was like, oh, which one's
It's
which
natural.
arcade game? Yeah, like we've just been flowing out of it.
I can tell you the hardest arcade game ever.
Go on.
Go on. Ninja Gaiden.
No, that's
Oh.
not. No. That were called Shadow Warriors. That were in the arcade. It wasn't called Ninja Gaiden.
Oh yeah.
Shinobi's an hard one as well. Can you remember Shinobi?
I know
Side
Shinobi from the
side
whole console.
scrolling.
I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
one on the PS1. Oh, sorry.
No.
No.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, that
Oh.
was I had on the Super Ghosts and Goblins on the Super Nintendo. Yeah,
but
that was the one
the,
I was saying
the
you had to complete
original
it
one.
twice.
The issue
The
is,
original one is so hard.
do you know what's that? I don't know the arcade cabinet. I can't remember what it's called, but you remember. It's like a So the game is literally just quick time events. You're like some dude. You're trying to save a princess.
No,
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, I completed that on
Dragon's
stream once.
Lair.
I completed the whole
That's
game on
my
stream.
favourite game of all
I
time.
love Dragon's Lair. I think that's such a good
There
game.
we are.
Well, not it's one of my favourite arcade games because Splatterhouse is my first favourite.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
The original Splatterhouse.
I think I've seen an original arcade on it.
But they did Space Ace. They were Laserdisc as well. They were Space
Oh
Ace.
god,
it was-
laser discs.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
remember
that's what it was.
Space Ace. Isn't it the same concept as Dragon's Lair?
Yes, but it
just
was
different?
it was a boy that had been zapped with a ray, and he turned
Yeah.
into a man, and he tried, and obviously woman with in them days it was all cuss
So-
on it for.
Do you think
Yeah.
what you played as a kid in retro and what you've done, do you think that affects your... So, like, if you was to start gaming today, do you think your taste would be changed to what you play now? Compared to... Because obviously, like, retro games must have had a taste in your head, so, like, what do you play to now?
Yeah, because retro game wise, I played a lot of platformers
Yeah.
Yeah,
back.
there were a
retro
lot because
games.
you were dictated
'Cause
by
you were, like,
technology.
limited.
Yeah.
Dictated by the technology at the time, but so I think it made us better gamers and more patient, not raging like these kids do now. Because
I'm not saying nothing on
you
that
can,
one.
You can't, yeah, but you can rage. But I was brought up in a time where there were no save files at all, and if you had to, Nintendo, like for instance, Nintendo in the entertainment system didn't have a save function.
Yeah, you had to either use cheat codes. Like,
you had to
Yeah.
just complete it, or your
Do you
tea's ready.
yeah.
Turn that off, or I'll throw
you
it
had
out
to,
a
you
window.
had to leave your
And you had
computer
to turn
on.
it off, and you would need it on last level.
Yeah, like,
You had to start all over again, and it's like, but we did it.
yeah. I mean, I remember like
Because you
Crash
had to.
Bandicoot. When you'd done the bonus level, you'd get like a code like X square circle triangle
Oh,
triangle
yes,
X
yes.
circle circle square up.
I think that was only way. I think that was only way you could do it. Yeah.
No, I think you could save as well, but for some reason they had both. Because obviously the
think
PS1
you
had a memory card.
Oh yes, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
I think, yeah, because on the Super Nintendo when they released it, it was a big thing because they had batteries and you could save, and it was I think it was a Zelda game, which was the first home game that you could save
Right.
on the cartridge.
Right.
Ooh, I don't
I think-
know about
Don't
that.
think
Yeah.
I ever had one of them. I think I'd seen
Well-
them on. I'd seen funny ones on Mega Drive where there were EA ones and they had like a yellow thing on clip on them. And I think that was some, I don't know what that was though.
I think that was just the style of cartridge. That was the thing. Mega Drive, it's unlike the Super Nintendo. Them yellow, the ones with the yellow clips are on all different shapes, but unofficial cartridges. Yeah. That's why they could have all the different shapes. Like Theme Hospital on the Mega Drive is one as well.
I love Theme
But
Hospital.
yeah, I think the Super Nintendo is like the first home console where you could
Classic
save your game.
games.
It's when you say Theme Hospital, all around. Doctor required in GP's office. Nurse
Bloated
required in
head.
pharmacy.
Bloated head.
Bloated with pin. Yeah. It's totally different. Yeah, it's shaped my gaming.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
I appreciate things like
Save files.
the new the PlayStation 1 version of Tomb Raider. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Do you know
So
what?
the graphics have evolved for me.
Oh yeah,
Triangle.
I mean, come on,
So
triangle
it's
with a round.
It's
Look at-
really. It's,
look. We can literally if you put a side by side picture of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII in the PS1 era to Cloud now,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
big difference.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Advent, like we were saying, Advent Children and that. It looks the same,
yeah.
but it doesn't look the same. It's just more.
In
not
my head,
pixelated.
it looks the same.
So what do you
Yeah,
think? What do you think about the retro games that they're remastering now? Do you like what they're doing, remastering these games, or do you think they need to?
Yes. No, I do. I think it's great.
It's a good idea.
Especially Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, because they've not changed the gameplay. The game is the exact same.
Yeah.
But there's just more detail. It's that's all it is. If you actually look at Spyro, it's just
it's just the same game. Yes,
it's just a blank canvas in most areas, and they've just put background, and I just think it makes them look more.
See, I agree with that. The only one I don't agree is what they've done with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed that. I don't know. Why
Yeah, because they've made it episodic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
made it
don't know why they did
episodic,
that.
but they've changed the story as well. Because I believe
Have
in
they?
yeah.
I've
So
not played it. I've not played it.
so you've played Final Fantasy VII, so you know when you
Yeah.
meet Yuffie when you leave this one, you're in the main world.
And she's a secret character.
She's a secret character. Yeah.
Yuffie.
In this, in the newer one, you find her in the city.
No.
Yeah.
Yuffie with the little ninja thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a whole separate
And you
little
found
campaign.
her on a tower, didn't you? Find her in like what? A tower?
No, so you go to like this sort of like prehistoric, like Japanesey looking town, and she robs all your
Yeah.
That's
materia.
after
That's
Yeah.
right.
she's stolen your materia in a
Yeah.
battle in a forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
So
shows.
like I said, she was a secret character. Even Vincent in the original, I think, if you
Vincent,
don't,
man,
you
if
can
you
miss
don't
Vincent.
play the piano properly, you can
Yeah.
miss him.
You can miss him. Yeah, you're not guaranteed to get Vincent or Yuffie. I believe Sid, you
Really?
definitely get. Yeah. So
Wow,
you
I
can
got
miss
him. I got him first go.
Yeah, because what to get Yuffie, you would naturally end up going into the forest and get robbed by her, and then you want your stuff back, so you're gonna hunt her down.
You go and follow.
So
him.
missing her. So when you're going to Vincent, it's like she said, if you don't play the piano with the right notes, if you don't follow the clues around the house and play the piano to open the door, you won't find Vincent downstairs.
I must have done it then.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
It depends on your curiosity. So, like, if you go in there and you want to figure out this puzzle because you're like, if you're just like, I can't be bothered or whatever it is, it can't be that important, and you skip it, yes, I believe you can miss Vincent. Quote me if I'm wrong. If anybody in the comments knows that we're wrong,
Yeah.
but I believe
you
you
can
miss
miss
it.
it.
Yeah.
But that's another thing about older games to modern games. In the older games, you would sit there and figure out puzzles. Like, you would sit there
the
for
puzzles
ages,
were
figure them out,
amazing.
and you'd go and explore. In modern games now, with the young kids playing the more modern games, they just get bored and just stop. So puzzles are, like, really easy in games now. But back then, they weren't. You could lose entire contents. You could block off ends of games. Like, you could get to a point and then screw yourself over.
Yeah.
The one that I did on the Mega Drive, which was called The Immortal.
Never
Have you
heard
never
that.
seen that one?
No.
I don't know that one.
You need to look it up. The Immortal. It was like you used to use your D-pad to dodge and stuff like that, and you were a wizard. But you had, and like I said, there were no save files or anything.
Yeah.
You had to, if you died, you had to come from the beginning again and do everything all over. And I managed to kill the dragon. But how many times did I fail on that dragon?
Yeah.
The life system
Yeah.
doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I had to go do it all over again.
I'm pretty
The
sure.
dragon and protect and
I think all three of us here sat here and when playing GTA, had a sheet of paper with a load of different codes on to get flying cars.
I
cheat
never
codes.
I never did GTA because that was PlayStation 1.
PS1, PS2.
PS. So I was married and had kids then, so it were I think nearest I got were what's that? Gran Turismo. When Gran Turismo came out and
Gran Turismo is pretty good.
2, I think I was just playing them. So
Yeah, I didn't like Gran
never really
Turismo
got-
because I didn't like to. I had to get a driver's license for each qualification.
Oh,
Oh,
video game.
Well, I
Yeah,
had a
like-
friend that were into. I had a friend at the time that were into cars, and we used to just talk
Like
away at
my
it. So.
my racing experience
yeah.
was Diddy Kong Racing and Mario Kart. That
Yeah,
was
my-
my.
Road
my,
Rash.
Yeah, my Gran Turismo experience was on less than legitimate discs
Copy
right.
on the
discs.
PlayStation 1.
That's like when you used to go to the
that
booth
was
fair
it.
and there used to be that one guy with like loads of discs with like printed out pictures on them, like, "Hey, this game works."
Yeah. Because this is like younger gamers, right? Did you guys have a chipped PS1? Because you might understand that phrase. A chipped console.
I've got one now.
I'd never
I've
had
got a
one.
chipped,
No.
I've got a chipped PS1 now, and I've also got a chip. Well,
I got a chipped PS2.
I've got a chipped Xbox with 700
Ooh.
games. Well, about
Nice.
700, 800, 900 games on it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
back in the day, to play the naughty like pirated games, you had to have a console modified to play them
Yeah,
because of
it's chipped,
DRM
yeah.
on disc. Yeah.
Yeah.
So chipped PS1s were a big thing, and my mate had
It's
one.
funny you say that because on my Xbox, mine's got Homer Simpson. Mine's Homer Simpson background to get into menus and stuff. Yeah, but
I mean,
So
Road Rash Mega Drive.
is that the one where you was on
Hold on.
bikes and you could like hit someone with a baseball bat?
kick 'em
Yeah,
off,
kick
yeah,
'em
yeah.
off. Yeah.
And then there were one called Skitching, which were rollerblades and used to be able to grab hold of the car.
Oh,
yeah,
Can you remember
that
Skitching?
one.
no.
It's ringing a bell in my head. Like I may have
Biker
seen
Mice
videos
from
of it.
Mars on Super Nintendo.
Brilliant.
Never-
Brilliant show.
Brilliant
That
show.
was-
I
the
loved
The
it as a
actual
kid. Yeah.
game were brilliant. The actual game were brilliant, and it
I mean-
was like just
For some reason, though, when you were talking about that rollerblade game, it just reminded me of Crazy
Skitching.
Taxi.
Jet Set
Crazy
Radio.
Taxi.
that Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
Was really
And when you're
good,
driving
yeah.
around to yeah.
But then the Simpsons game on the audio's gone funny, has it?
No, the
You're right.
Crazy Taxi is an example of a remake done wrong. Because the original Crazy Taxi, the entire soundtrack is done by The Offspring, which is a really good like.
Yes, it
bad.
was. Yes, it was.
And then in the
arcade.
remake, the entire soundtrack is removed. So the Dreamcast has the original soundtrack. The PS2 version onwards, no soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah, they removed all the original songs.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
But
I
on
remember,
the
yeah.
PC Steam version,
Yeah.
there's actually a mod you can get, and if you have the CDs for the
Yeah.
music legally, you can mod the songs back in.
What about Spotify? Because you can get it on Spotify if you pay for it.
Yeah, if you can get them, you can,
Yeah.
or just play the Offsprings in the background while
background
playing
while
Crazy
playing
Taxi.
Just
Yeah,
play
yeah,
it on
yeah.
Spotify. Yeah. Do you know what game
Yeah,
I don't
I-
understand? Do you know? I don't. Do any of you remember Jet Set Radio?
Yes, Jet Set
So
Radio.
I remember
I-
watching you
I
play it.
played that.
It was Jet Set Radio Future when I
Yeah,
had it
but
because it
what
was
I don't
only-
understand,
it
'cause
came
I bought-
with the Xbox.
Yeah, because I bought a copy of it like I think a couple of years ago, and I
Yeah.
started because I was like, oh, this game is really hyped. What's the big deal? I started playing it. Like, this game isn't that good. Like I don't really like this game. I mean,
It was. You've got to think when the Xbox came out, it was revolutionary. You've got
Also,
to think. You're experiencing it from like now.
yeah.
Whereas when it first came out, it was amazing. Do you know?
Yeah. No, we're talking about the Jet Set Radio on Dreamcast.
On Dreamcast, yeah.
Even the original.
All right.
But
okay.
there are some games like that just have ridiculous hype behind
Can you
them.
remember that silly one, like a shooting one, where it were like women, and you had to dance or something, and she used to shoot people. That were on Dreamcast, I think.
Yeah, there were a lot of Japanese
Dancing
games. Dreamcast.
women.
Oh,
It was in like orange. It was like spacey, like a spacey age thing, and I can't remember what it
oh
was
my
called.
god. The Dreamcast failed so hard because they forgot to put DRM on the console. So you could just download a game, play it straight on the original consoles.
Really?
You didn't have to mod them.
Yeah.
So if you've got a Dreamcast, I shouldn't be saying this, but on the
What, it's
bottom of
Sega?
Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, on the
That's-
bottom
I
of
wonder
it,
if that's
they'll
why
in a
they came out.
circle. Yeah, in a circle, there will either be a 0 or 1 next to the power and TSC. If you have something with a 0 written on, it has no copy protection. So you could download games, put them on a disc, and use them.
But for the best experience in
Hence
retro,
why it failed.
for your best retro
Hence
gaming
why it
experience,
failed.
buy the hardware, the original hardware.
Yeah,
Buy the
Buy
hardware,
games. Because
buy the games.
there's-
Sometimes, though,
yeah.
they are a bit expensive. Like Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast is ridiculous.
Coming on to EA though, can you remember EA games? What
When they were
has that company done, man? They were so good on Mega Drive.
Yeah.
They
And
were good on Mega Drive,
they
they were
did
good on
they did
PlayStation.
John Madden, they did FIFA, they did absolutely loads of stuff. And then
it become a money grab.
I don't know where they lost it.
It become a big
Most
money
of the
grab
game
for them.
companies now, yeah.
That's the
Like
problem.
all the games companies now that are having troubles, that you younguns and all the new people playing games are like, this game company's terrible. No, back in the day they were amazing. They were powerhouses, like you said,
Yeah.
EA Sports, like EA Sports.
It's in the
It's in the
game.
game.
Back in the day, we used to buy a game and that's it. You get the game. You don't have to buy DLC. There's no like extras. You don't have battle passes. I mean, I think it wasn't
DLC came on disc.
DLC game on a disc. You had to physically go out and buy a disc. Like
Fallout.
I remember
was
waiting
prime
6
example of
years
that.
for a second game to come out. You had
Oh,
to wait
yeah.
6 years for next next part of it, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean,
That was something as well, yeah.
I mean,
Sorry, come on.
there's the benefits of the old retro games and there's the negatives. Like saving, obviously, is a benefit now. Being able to save your game to stop and play it another time, fantastic. Back in the day, you just suffered. That was it. That's a good thing. I do miss the way games were. Like, I wish I could just, nowadays, buy a game, get a disc, play it, and that's it. There's no download. There's no update. There's going to be no DLC. You get the game from start to finish at a polished state, not an alpha, not a beta, not of all of this crap. You get the game at its fullity, that's what annoys me most about current gaming. Like, I can't buy a game now on day one and expect it to work.
Even this... Like, that's Fallout in my Salad case. But even that Fallout game, that's not on there. That has to install to a console now to work.
Like,
you can't just play it straight off the disc. But it's on disc. Why not just
put it on the disc? Like, I mean, that Sandland game looks quite interesting, actually.
That Sandland game is actually pretty fun. But even then, that has to install. It's just an installer on the disc. It's not even, like, you can't just put it in and play it. You have to install it, like, through, like, Steam would install a game.
Yeah. It's like, what's
also,
the point?
Load times. I missed the days on the Super Nintendo and Mega Drive. It was near instant load times on those because of the cartridges. Like on Super Mario World, you put the game and hit it, you're on the menu screen.
That's it, the power were on that, was it?
There is no like load screens at all. Like, it wasn't until PS1 that load screens started coming. Because even on the N64,
because it had to read the disc. The N64, because it's cartridge based. That's why the Switch is actually pretty good for this on some games when they're optimized properly.
When they're optimized, if we're talking about like the weird knockoff games that you buy from the pound shop, and or like Barbie's Adventure, they take.
Hey, you leave Barbie's Adventure alone. That's sitting right there.
Can you remember buying magazines and actually looking in the magazines and thinking,
or getting a demo disc?
This game's coming. I mean, it's before internet came out. But it was like, demo discs on your PlayStation magazine and stuff like that. And it was like, this is what's coming out.
Yeah, I remember demo
discs.
But
you only had like a level or something.
Fun trivia. If you have a copy of the old PS1 demo disc with Crash Bash, or the Crash Bash demo, if you enter a code, it's technically the full game. You can enter a code to go to the main menu and play the full game on that demo disc.
Wasn't Crash Bash just like a cheap party game?
Yeah, it was like a party game setup. But the thing is, it's the full game on the demo disc. There you are. Random.
But I think that was PlayStation's attempt at a Mario Party sort of party game.
Yeah. I hate them. Computer cheats so much.
And
now that's a game I could rage to. Mario
but demo
Party.
discs were amazing. And it was like, you don't get that. With the internet, you don't get them. You get downloadable demos very rarely now, but most games just go straight into alpha. And it's like...
Yeah.
But yeah, having that demo disc, it's like, oh, we played the demo, it's really cool. Like the Resident Evil 2 demo that came... I think it's Resident Evil 2 came with a game, and it was like, oh yeah, you played the demo. Released next year. And it's like...
No,
that's all you have. You have that one little bit for a year to keep you going.
I mean, I remember one demo I used to play over and over, and it was just like this little purple ninja, and you'd walk around as a purple. It's like a 3D world, not fully 3D. It's like top down, in a way.
Okay.
Well, I think it was. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it was like a purple ninja, and you just used to walk around, and it was really hard. It was like Dark Souls, but PS1 edition.
Dark Souls is technically retro because it's on the 360.
The hardest game on the Xbox was Ninja Gaiden, and they've just done a re-release of it now.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden was so hard. But
Did you guys? It's
a
just
really,
like,
really good
ridiculous.
game on PlayStation. Tenchu.
Tenchu.
Was
Tenchu
amazing.
Silent Assassin.
Yeah, when you used to just slit the... Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can't really say something like that.
Yeah,
on
but
podcast,
Tenchu 2
yeah.
Stealth Assassin, that was it. My mate Shadow and me played that so much.
And you look at graphics now and you think, oh my god, it's so square.
So
Pixelated. But the actual
Tomb Raider.
the gameplay were
Doof.
amazing. Do you know?
I mean,
Because it was trying to push the graphics a lot, but they did have to, because the gameplay had to be good. It had to be gripping to keep you there. Like, let's look at the classic really bad games, like The Fifth Element. The gameplay in that is terrible because the enemies spawn off screen and you can't see them. So it never did really well. So it didn't matter how it looked, it was terrible because the gameplay is terrible. But then you look at games like the original Pokemon. That's just top-down 8-bit. Yet people still play it in the speedrun categories and people love them.
Yeah, Zelda.
Zelda, like the picture behind you. That's the whole map. It's not that big.
But,
And yet you could be there for hours and hours and hours playing it.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
There's underground as well, ain't there?
Yeah, but we like us as gamers now. We had, like, when I was a kid, I had more patience. So like when obviously I'm not, I would say when Skyrim came out, I don't know how, I think I was maybe like 15, 16. I can't remember how old Skyrim is
When
now.
Skyrim first came out.
I spent 200 and odd hours in that game, and I probably only done about 10 or 20% of the main quest because I got sidetracked so much. I was like, stuff to explore. And I actually explored like 90% of the map. Probably
Really
less.
fall that through.
Just because I was walking around like, a dungeon over there. There's a farm over there. I better go and unlock that. And I just wanted to unlock every little location on the map.
That's where the 360 and PS3 really peaked, in my opinion, because when it went from PS2 to PS3 was the size of the game, the physical amount you could do, because it went from like DVDs, and on the PS3 it went to Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So you could put, and the DVDs got like double layer DVD, so you could put more on the disc.
Yeah.
That was the thing that really scored. Like Skyrim, massive game. Fallout, big games compared to what came before. These big open world RPGs and stuff.
Yeah.
And games like Dark Souls, like a new type of game, like Souls-like, is now because of that, because of these new games and what you could do.
From PlayStation 1, that's when I transitioned to PC, sort of, in 1999. I had a Packard Bell, but because it was a 56k modem,
dial-up.
and it's like you've got people ringing you, and you say, "Why is my game going off?" You don't realise it's your parents ringing you. I've been trying to get hold of you for half an hour. Where you been? Oh, so it were you that were disconnecting me from my game, wasn't it? And then obviously, and then it wasn't until ADSL came out that I actually started playing PC properly.
But
then 360 came out.
Yeah.
And changed it off.
You would know, us all being retro stuff, you would also be able to know if the phone was going to ring before the phone was ringing.
Oh yeah,
because of the speakers.
It was always the same.
Pick the phone up, answer the phone, wait, and then answer it.
Yeah.
Or it's like the phone's about to ring. Why? Because my internet's cut out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
ring. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think kids
Or if
nowadays
you're going to connect to the internet. In my place, in my house, it was done every day. If you connect to the internet on our old internet plan, you had to pay. So if you went on the internet that day, you had to put £1 in the box. That pays for the
you had to
internet.
put some money in the box. Yeah,
Because it was dial-up. So you paid for the amount of time you used back in the day. Not broad. Yeah, because dial-up. It was with FreeServe.
Oh yeah, of course you did. You had to pay for your phone bill.
So you paid through your phone bill. So
they
dial-up internet.
They tried. I think BT tried screwing us over once with, and it wasn't until my electrician friend said, "How do they know how much you're using? You're on ADSL," and it says, "Just tell them you want an itemised bill on how much data you've downloaded," because they don't know. I mean, they must have known, but.
Yeah. So trying to play video games multiplayer on dial-up, that was a struggle. I used to have to play Halo on dial-up.
Do you know what we're going to need to do? We're going to need to set up a day where we can all get together, set up a retro-like setup, and just play some 4-player co-op games like 007 where we can all cheat off each other's screens.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know,
I don't know if I'd be able to play that now because it'd make me sick, graphics.
Yeah.
Because my motion sickness is just,
I just realised saying that. This is going to make you feel old. I had to play my Xbox 360 on Halo was the only reason we got broadband,
Really?
Ooh.
and that's Halo.
Halo's
And
good,
to me,
though.
that's not that old.
Didn't. We had all four of us. We all had a controller each, and we just played 2v2.
That was also
Yeah.
Red versus blue.
yeah. That was the first like major console generation where 4-player multiplayer was a thing, like more of a thing.
yeah.
Like there are some PS2 games that do it, some Xbox games that do it, because Xbox had 4 ports, GameCube had 4 ports, but you didn't really do 4-player that much. But
PC.
when it was like PC and just
Quake
the
and
360 did
Unreal
more.
Tournament.
I mean,
That
my
were your multiplayer
4-player co-op experience was all of me and my friends will sit in my bed and playing Micro Machines on the PS1. And us all trying to do like the stupid, like we're doing the races, but we got bored of just racing. We're like, okay, when you get to the ruler bit where it makes you jump, you have to do a 360 spin and then try and land and carry on drive, just to make the game more exciting.
Yeah.
But the most of my
games,
my
games
retro
didn't
gaming,
punish you as much back then. for
Yeah.
that sort of
I mean,
thinking
Turok,
about.
you just have fun. You didn't care whether
Turok
you
on-
won or lost. You're just having a laugh with your mates. You know what I mean?
Turok on Nintendo 64.
I don't. I remember Turok, but I don't remember playing. Like I spent.
I didn't have a 64, so
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my time playing consoles older was with my cousin Charlie. I spent most of my co-op experiences with him, like Lord of the Rings. I think I spoke about this in the previous podcast with the Lord of the Rings games. I used to play with him all the time, like Dynasty Warriors. I
Did
remember
you ever
playing
play
Mario
The
and all
Hobbit?
that.
Did you ever actually play the Hobbit game?
I haven't played. I played the one with the weird like.
No, the Hobbit. It's called the Hobbit, and it's
it's on the Xbox. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's on the PS2 as well. Yeah, I remember picking it up once, and it was
I think
crap.
it was on Steam as well. Actually, I'm not sure.
I think they did
There's
do
been
this.
some pretty bad PS2 games though, but we won't get into that because there's a lot of bad PS2 games. We could probably have a whole discussion on bad.
Shadow
PS2.
Man on the PS1. That's terrible. Fifth Element.
There you go.
Was
There's
a
a question.
terrible
If,
game.
if you're watching or listening, put in the comments below. What do you think is the worst PS2 game? But
Or the worst game for a console.
yeah, what's
Like
your
a console and the worst game for it. PS1 is Fifth Element. The enemies spawn off screen and you can't see them to shoot them.
N64? Super Mario 64. So no, Super Mario 64.
No,
Superman 64.
Yeah, Superman 64
Oh,
on the Atari.
Or what about Bubsy on the PS1?
Oh no, not Bubsy 3D.
Bubsy 3D. That's the worst game. And you made me play
I
it on
made you
stream
play
once.
that on the stream.
Oh, it was so painful.
And you raged so hard. You played 10 minutes and just quit.
Because the game's
Isn't it-
impossible. It's impossible.
Isn't-
I anybody out there I want someone to give me a link to a person that plays Bubsy 3D like who could speedrun that game. Do you know what? After this, I'm
one
looking
tries.
for a speedrun of Bubsy 3D. I need to see the category for that because I want to know how fast someone can beat that shitty game. Oh dear, that game was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm raging just thinking about how awful that game was.
Did any of you guys play Conquer?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. on the
No,
64.
I never played it. All I know is there's a couple.
I hadn't realised there was
have it
sense of
somewhere.
humour in that.
Yeah, I mean, I played it on when it came out on the
didn't
Xbox
understand-
One. I think.
That was Conker's Live and Reloaded, which they
Oh,
took
that's
out
right,
all
yeah,
of the
yeah.
adult humour. But Conker's Bad Fur Day, I was a teenager around mate Graham's house. He had it. We didn't understand all the jokes because we didn't have the life experience, and we
Yeah.
shouldn't have been playing it.
But I bet
Because
you
we were like
both
15.
laughed at the poo.
Yeah, obviously.
I am the great mighty.
I do have a copy of that somewhere. I just lost.
It's so expensive to get an original copy of that
It
game.
is stupid.
You're talking like
But the thing
400
was-
quid, yeah?
It's an all right game. It's
Yeah.
one of those games that is on a pedestal. It's like, oh, it's great. It's okay.
We're talking about
Ridge
retro
Racer.
stuff. Ridge
Ridge
Racer.
Racer
on
Oh,
PlayStation
PlayStation 1, I
1.
played that so much with my brother.
Rented it so much from Blockbuster, Ridge Racer, and then ended up buying it.
But on that note, we've been waffling on for longer than normal. We're going to call that an episode today. We will move on next week. We're going to be discussing Pokemon. We're going to have Shivy back and with some other new guests. Yorkie's not going to be back for that one because he's not a fan of Pokemon.
I'm not a fan of
But you can check out the Yorkie
knew?
Gamer on his Twitch occasionally, the Yorkie Gamer. And you can check out Shivy here at Shiverpotamus on every platform. But I'll put links in the description below if they send them to me. If they send them to me, I will put them in there because I can't be bothered to look for them.
That seems like work.
Yeah, so Shivvy's got to do work. But you can check both of these guys out. Shivvy does a lot of YouTube content. Check him out if you're a fan of Fallout and stupidness.
Fallout, video games, and motorcycle stuff.
And retail and retro stuff from all
Retail jokes.
Retail jokes.
Retail jokes occasionally.
Retro most games. I like retro, but I do play modern games and things like that as well. So,
of course, you can check me out. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out more of my videos here. If you're listening on Spotify, you can check me out on YouTube. I do occasionally stream on Twitch, but I'm just sort of on and off of that at the moment. But you will be able to check out stuff there. But guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's episode.
Thank you very much for having me again.
Yes. I will be
Thank
here
you both
again.
for being, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Remind me if you do like certain guests and you want to see more of them, let me know in the comments because I only know if you guys tell me. Alright guys, well thank you all again and we will see you all in next week.
Bye.